This video is rated PG-13. I'm not a very ambitious gamer. I've been strictly a Minecraft player for many years now, and it's not like I hated the idea of playing more games, I was just intimidated. Sure, I dabbled in other games like Fortnite and Lethal Company, and while I definitely enjoyed those games, if you were to ask me for my go-to, it would be Minecraft. So at the beginning of 2025, I decided I would push myself to play more games and expand my knowledge, and with some help from my brother and our shared family Steam library, which means I haven't had to pay for any of these games, I've been able to play more video games and extend my knowledge. So far, at the time I'm writing this script, I've played 3 games. Detroit Become Human, which is cool and fine, I guess.
You guys check it out, we got one of those tin cans here.
I just want to go. Oh god, oh no. And then Portal 1 and Portal 2. I'm sure you can guess which games I enjoyed more. Dude, this game is so good. I mean, Portal 2 is better in almost every single way, and maybe I'll make a video on it, but I don't know, don't hold me to that. But damn, this first game is still so good. I love this game so much, and so because I love it so much, I'm gonna go over everything and just ramble at random about different things I love about the game. Just hanging tight, I promise, it's worth it. There will be cake at the end. Portal 1 has a very slow burn approach to its story. Now, obviously the game has been out for as long as I have, and actually one day older than me, fun fact, so I knew going in that GLaDOS was the main villain or whatever, but other than the GLaDOS reveal being spoiled for me, I wasn't aware of anything else about Portal, but from the perspective of the unassuming player, it mostly just feels like a complicated puzzle game. Sure, it's kinda eerie and a bit unnerving, especially in the dialogue and the constant cutting out of GLaDOS' voice, but I'm sure it's fine. There's nothing really to worry about. Hey, I wonder why there's nobody in those viewing rooms. And then you get to Chamber 16, and you truly realize that something ain't right. This is the chamber where the turrets are introduced, and you actually start getting put in active danger. But Blockso, what about the energy ball and the toxic sludge from the past chambers? We're ignoring the energy ball and the toxic sludge. Besides, you aren't in immediate peril with those things, and they aren't trying to kill you, but if you're stupid, it will kill you. Anyway, not only is Chamber 16 the first time you're put in active danger, seemingly on purpose, but it's also the level where you see this shit. Suddenly, the lack of humans and overall creepy vibe makes sense. Every human in this facility is dead, the robots have taken over the facility, and you're all that's left. The cake is a lie, the cake is a lie! The cake- Hello, can I help you? Holy shit. What the- Besides this guy called Doug Ratman, who supposedly was the one who wrote these messages, but we're gonna ignore him. He's not actually in the game, he's just in the lore, technically. Anyway, this huge change in the story, accompanied with the music and the visuals of the behind the scenes of Aperture, are super amazing at establishing the tone that is present throughout the rest of the game going forward. Because once you have this shocking realization, you approach the game very differently. You go forward with way more caution. Anyway, once you get through the turrets, which took me forever for some reason, we get to probably the funniest part of the game, which is the companion cube part. I'll talk more about the comedic aspects of the game a bit later, and the companion cube will be a part of that, but for right now, let's continue with how the companion cube fits into the story. Now, the companion cube is exactly what it sounds like. It's just another one of the test cubes, but you bring it around and it has a cute little heart sticker on it. It helps you with a couple tasks, you get attached to it, you see more of these creepy Doug Ratman rooms, and then you have to kill the companion cube. This is genuinely a bit heartbreaking because yes, the game has tried to physically hurt you multiple times, but up until this point, the game hasn't tried to emotionally hurt you. The game almost expertly makes you get attached to this inanimate object and then says, fuck you, and then makes you watch as you euthanize your new best friend. This shit's more heartbreaking than that A24 movie called We Live in Time, starring Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield that came out in 2024. I'm dead serious. Sorry, Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. Anyway, Chambers 18 and 19 are cool and fine, and then, oh god, you're about to be burned alive. Now the gameplay has shifted dramatically. You are out of the chambers, and you are now fighting for your life, as you use the knowledge you've acquired to escape Aperture. Oh my god, that is so cool as a concept. Now you traverse through the facility, as you see more of these creepy destroyed rooms and get more lore served to you through more writing on the walls and these PowerPoint presentations talking about some company called Black Mesa. You hear GLaDOS grasping at straws to get you to turn around and or kill yourself, and it's so cool. Not the killing yourself part, because killing yourself is not cool. I was talking about the game story because, again, I cannot stress enough how cool this game is. Anyway, you get to GLaDOS' room, and while the boss battle isn't the most insane thing compared to some of the other stuff you've had to fight through in the facility, the battle against GLaDOS has its own wow factor and unique playstyle to make up for it, which I'll talk about more later when I get to talking about the gameplay aspects. The boss battle is super fun, and when you defeat GLaDOS by burning her personality cores, the whole facility blows up and sends you up for some reason, and sends you outside the facility. I'll admit, this part of the game has always been the most confusing to me. Not that it damages my love for the game, but it does make me question what's going on, and it especially confuses me a little bit when we put Portal 2 into consideration, and everything including GLaDOS' body is now back inside the facility. But whatever, who cares? Anyway, you're in the parking lot, probably unconscious, but now free. But then you're dragged back into the facility by some mechanical force, specifically something called a party escort bot.
Thank you for assuming the party escort submission position.
And now you can never truly be free. At the end of the game, we see the camera swoop down to see a room with a companion cube, a bunch of inactive personality cores, and a cake. And as the personality cores become active again, a mechanical arm comes down and puts out the candle on the cake, ending the game. That last part is most likely not part of the actual reality of the game. Like, I know in Portal 2 GLaDOS reveals that she kinda has a weird attachment to Shell, but I just don't see Portal 1 GLaDOS actually making a cake and bringing the companion cube out to congratulate you in any way. I think this is just a weird dream of some kind, something you imagine in your unconscious state as the escort party bot drags you back into the facility, maybe? I don't know, but that's just a theory. That sucked a lot. But I love the ambiguity of the ending and how it's completely up for interpretation. God, this game is so cool. The story is so awesome, but do you know what else is awesome? Look. I know the graphics aren't really fantastic.
Say that again?
It definitely looks like a game that came out the same year as Ratatouille, but just like Ratatouille, that doesn't mean it's bad. Quite the opposite, actually. Because, dude, I just love the simplicity of the graphics here, man. It just gives everything this edge to it and makes the creepy behind-the-scenes stuff at Aperture just way more creepy. And I know I keep talking about the graphics being simple, but in all honesty, you barely notice because the game draws you in so easily and it makes the art direction better. Everything looks intentional. I love how the elevators to each chamber are super dirty on the walls because there hasn't been a human to clean them in forever. It's a really nice touch that you really begin to notice once you realize all the humans are dead. I will say the only thing that doesn't age the most gracefully is GLaDOS' design in Portal 1, because she looks good, but Portal 2's GLaDOS design is just 100 times better, and it really outshines the Portal 1 GLaDOS design in every way, unfortunately. But that's a problem we'll get into if I one day decide to talk about Portal 2. The thing the game is named after, the actual portals themselves, are also so incredibly awesome. In fact, they are so awesome that they've cemented themselves into pop culture forever with their iconic orange and blue oval designs. Dude, this game is just so freaking sick. I know I'm freaking out about pretty minor things, but you have to understand, this game is just so impressive to me on every level. It is just genuinely a perfect game to me. I can't think of any flaws besides, you know, the glitches, but those will come with any game. And the game's art direction is no different. Genuinely so awesome. Okay, so I'm not a game designer. I know jack shit about coding, and I'm pretty bad at math, so I'm actually probably not qualified enough, nor smart enough to talk about the gameplay, so yeah, sorry, we're gonna move on. Nah, I'm just pulling your leg. I'll talk about the gameplay because it's so cool, dude! Valve has stated that they only really make games if they can push the boundaries and or develop new systems from their games. Basically, if they can revolutionize the gaming landscape somehow, they'll make a new game to show it off. For example, Half-Life showed off the great and engaging storytelling capabilities a first-person shooter can have, Half-Life 2 showed off how great a physics engine can be, and Half-Life Alyx showcased that VR games can be good and well-designed and up to AAA standards even though it's VR. Now, I should probably state that I've never played the Half-Life games, but this is just what I've heard from literally everyone, and even from what I've seen, I can say that yes, these games are revolutionary and Portal is no different. The game mechanics of the portal gun are absolutely incredible. Like, the fact that you can see through a portal and not only see what's on the other side perfectly, but also be able to pass through it and pass objects through it without any issue, that's insane! And I feel like that must have been a nightmare to code at first. I imagine someone in the comments is gonna say, well, actually, it's super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
And the code is quite simple, really. But I don't know, I'm a small-brained dude. This shit, while probably and most likely very simple in code, is so cool to me. The puzzles are also so fun and inventive. Like any good puzzle game should do, every puzzle room builds on top of what the last room showed you. It starts off easy and slowly becomes more challenging. While the chambers are cool and really fun, I do have to say that my favorite part of the game is when you're escaping the facility. This part of the game is where you use the knowledge that you gain from the chambers and apply it to go through Aperture's back inner systems. You use the portal launching all the time in this chapter, and I gotta say, every time I was thrown across a large area from the portal launching, I would get so excited.
Well done.
The puzzles are actually pretty easy to understand, and I felt pretty smart for getting through most of it without having to look up a tutorial. I say most of it because there are only 2 times where I was so stuck and I had to look up how to solve the puzzle. It was here at the turret garage sale, and here at the little tube thing. I only got stuck here because I didn't realize I still needed the turret from the other room to shoot the tube so I could get the cube to get up into the air vent. And I got stuck here because I didn't realize that I could portal into the turret garage areas, but can you blame me? This puzzle doesn't give you that much time at all to react to the situation. But other than those 2 areas, the puzzles in Portal are fairly easy enough for someone like me to understand. Now to talk about the boss battle against GLaDOS. Now I'm not gonna harp on this section of the game because it's still extremely fun. Extremely easy, but still really fun. It's not underwhelming or anything. There's still a big sense of scale and uniqueness to make this a cool boss fight, but I feel like it's relatively non-lethal considering the last chunk of this game has actually been pretty brutal with all the turrets and squishing machines. But again, it's still really fun. You have to use some cool portal mechanics to return to send her these missiles back at GLaDOS so that she drops her personality core so that you can burn them. Simple, but effective. The boss battle aspect is something I think Portal 2 does a better job at, but let's be honest, Portal 2 does everything better. It's genuinely insane how good that game is. But anyway, yeah. The gameplay of Portal 1 is spectacular, but since I'm nowhere near smart enough to go into the nitty-gritty aspects of the game mechanics, I'm going to link a video or 2 down in the description from other people who are more qualified to talk about that stuff. The OST, or original soundtrack for Portal, is phenomenal. It gives off that eerie vibe I was talking about earlier with just a bit more techno in it. It lends itself perfectly with the story. Here, let me run down the OST for you real quick. This one is a classic, pretty chipper, but it's also echoing so much it's disturbing. Encapsulates the early eeriness of the game perfectly. This one has a distorted heaven-like vibe going on, and it makes you feel constantly untrusting of the narrative. This one creeps me out, and the fact that it's called Android Hell disturbs me. This one is more calm, but that just makes it more creepy. This is the music that plays over the main menu, and it sounds like the techno vibe is collapsing in on itself. Ah yes, the song that plays when GLaDOS tries to burn you to death, a classic and intense one. Literally sounds like your adrenaline in that moment. I don't know how they did that, dude. This is when you're escaping the facility, and it sounds like you're tiptoeing through an abandoned warehouse, which is essentially what you're doing in the game at this point. This one's pretty calm and almost like a choir, like very nice. Well, not really, because you're in constant danger, but Oh man, when this game goes full techno, it slaps hard, dude. You can hear the cogs in your brain helping you escape. Such a bop for no reason. This one is my favorite. This is the song that plays when you discover the first hideout and the game goes from weird, eerie puzzle game to an escape for your life action game. It's my favorite moment in the game, and that's why it's my favorite song. More techno-bit music. This game is so amazing, and the soundtrack is no different. I know I just said that No Cake for You is my favorite song on the soundtrack, and that's still true. Until you bring up this song. Sorry, it's just so much of a bop that it's just so much fun. This playing over the credits legit made me do a standing ovation at my desk. It's so good. The music in Portal is just so extremely fitting for the game, and I know that's kind of the bare minimum for any game OST, but once more, I state that I don't care! This game is so amazingly perfect at everything, it's insane, and little things like the soundtrack are a huge part of why I love this game so much. Now, I've talked about the writing of the story already, but I haven't talked about the comedic part of the writing just yet. You see, Portal's comedy is... Oh, how do I put this? Genius in every way imaginable. The game's main antagonist, GLaDOS, goes out of her way to insult you and be petty, and make constant comments that are littered with sarcasm.
You should have turned left before.
The turrets are actually sentient, and they make sure that you know that they are sentient by saying an adorably sad thing every time you kill one.
I don't blame you.
And of course, the companion cube, which is such a devastatingly dark and funny concept. Forcing the player to get attached to an inanimate object and then killing it right in front of you is so extremely dark it's simultaneously funny. The game is filled with quirky lines of dialogue from GLaDOS,
You're not a good person.
and also referential humor such as the Black Mesa Easter egg seen in this boardroom. I think other than the whole companion cube part, the funniest part of the game is when GLaDOS is trying to get you to kill yourself as you escape the facility, and she starts grasping at straws like, oh my god, it's so funny. I mean, not the killing yourself part. The GLaDOS grasping at straws part is what's funny, because killing yourself is not funny. Sure, the game is fantastic in terms of story, gameplay, music, and visual design, but I think the dark comedic undertones this game has are really the true backbone of this game. Okay, what else can I talk about with this game? Well, the sound design is pretty good. Not like the music, but the sound design. You know, the clanks and footsteps, the portal sounds. It's pretty cool. The radio version of It's Still Alive, it's pretty jammin'. And I like that it plays throughout the game. It's pretty dope. Ellen McLean is a fantastic voice actress and does great as the voice of GLaDOS and the turrets. Okay, maybe I've run out of things to talk about. Oh wait, kinda related, but my friend Wi-Fi promised me he would make a Portal video when he got back from his trip, and then he said he would play the Portal 2 co-op with me, and he has yet to play the Portal 2 co-op with me. Hello, Wi-Fi, you break my heart, man. Portal is one of my favorite games of all time. Its story is fantastic, its music is fantastic, the visuals, the writing, the gameplay, it's all fantastic! I think it's safe to say that I love Portal, and in my opinion, it's one of the best video games of all time. Now, with all this being said, imagine how I feel about Portal 2, which is 100 times better than Portal 1 in every single way somehow. Yeah, it's like the second coming of Christ. I'm only kidding, partially. Like and subscribe for a video about Portal 2, by the way. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll make a video on Portal 2, I think. Or, you know, maybe I'll do it anyway. I don't know. The 100 likes will probably incentivize me more to make that video. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Tell me if you want more videos like this that are just about me gushing over things I love. Why are you still here? What do you want? Oh, you wanted the cake! Ah, yes, the cake I promised at the beginning of the video. Well, I'm sorry to say, my friend, but, the cake was a lie. Okay, you burn now. Look at you, you're in fire. You burn now.